Hi, my name is Sarah, and I like books. I have a lot of books. Maybe not by like a booktuber's standards, but I have a lot of books for a personal library, for sure. I have been collecting them since I was a child, and I really haven't gotten rid of that many. A lot of them live at my parents' house now, but I still have quite a few that are older that have come with me to my home, and I've only continued to amass books from there. So I thought it would be fun as kind of a baseline where I'm starting to do the Do I Have That Book challenge. I thought it would be interesting. I'm also going to be doing the Do I Have That Other Book challenge. Because of the way my filming setup is, I'm not really able to time it and then film and do that whole thing. I will be, instead, my limiter is that I can't reuse any books between the two challenges. There are 20 questions per challenge. I have to have 40 completely unique books to fit this challenge. Let's get started. I will be leaving a link to the original creator of this challenge down below. And let's see, do I have that book? First question, do I have a book with deckled edges? I really don't like deckled edges that much, so I really didn't think I was gonna have one with deckled edges. I know I have the Series of Unfortunate Events, like a couple of them in hardback, but they're not here. So I do have Slade House by David Mitchell, and as you can see, those edges are deckled. This book is also signed by David Mitchell. I am really happy to have this. It does have deckled edges, which I was surprised by. I had to pull out more books than I would care to remember before I found one with that good deckling. Starting a pile of books that I've used that need to be reshelved. Wish me luck. Do you have a book with 3 or more people on the cover? I didn't, but I won a Goodreads giveaway recently, and this just arrived from Simon Teen, which I am so excited by. I haven't read it yet. I am very excited to get into it, but The Jump, it does have 4 little people on the front. This is The Jump by Brittany Morris. I, of course, am ecstatic that I won this, but we are not yet read, so. Do you have a book based on another fictional story? I have several. I feel like that's a pretty common thing to do, but I do have What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This is based on House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. And this is fantastic. It's not for everyone, for sure. I've seen some negative reviews of it by people who I normally trust what they think of books. But it's very gothic, it's very moody, not a lot of action, but there is a lot of amazing scene setting, amazing storytelling. I'm a sucker for Kingfisher always. I recommend this. If it's not for you, you're not gonna hurt my feelings, but this is near and dear to my heart. Do you have a book with a title 10 letters long? I do. This is Sorrowland by River Solomon. This is gorgeous. Definitely, I think that there is a Trigger Warnings archive page for this. I would definitely read up on what all is included in this book before you give it a shot. But it is so good. If you think that this is up your alley, it is so, so good. I could not set this down. I love this book, and 10 letters long. Do you have a book that starts and ends with the same letter? This Poison Heart. It sure does. It starts and ends with T. I have not read this yet, but I am so excited to. There's quite a few books on my TBR right now. We have a really good used bookstore near my home, so I'm able to get some stuff for pretty reasonable cost. Therefore, my TBR is always massive, but gorgeous cover. Even without the dust jacket on, it's beautiful, got that gold foiling. And inside the dust jacket is this gorgeous illustration. I'm so excited by this. I've heard some fantastic reviews of this one, so, but it also fits the requirement of beginning and ending with the same letter. I thought I was gonna have to go with my old janky copy of Starship Troopers, which I'm pretty sure is a library book that my dad stole in the 80s, because it has that strip on the bottom of like stickiness where a library sticker would have gone. Thankfully, I had a slightly cooler cover to show you. Love Starship Troopers, that's fine. But that one, I was excited to show how beautiful that edition is. I'll have to use Starship Troopers for a different one. Do you have a mass market paperback? Oh boy, do I. It doesn't get much more mass market paperback than Anne Rule, I feel like. It's got that very much just, you picked this up at a grocery store or at the airport kind of look this edition does, at least. She is so popular. She is wildly popular true crime author. And there's a reason, she's awesome. But this is Case Files number 15. So this one for sure, it's in that nice small edition, and this one is literally the pocketbook version, so it doesn't get much more mass market paperback than that. Like Deckled Edges, I'm actually not a fan of mass market paperbacks, really. I much prefer the ones that are a little bit bigger. They look cuter on shelves, which is not like the point, but I like it. And if I have a choice, I'm gonna get the normal version, but sometimes you find a really cool one that's mass market, or you're thrifting and you find a really good one and it's a great deal. So you get it and it doesn't matter. It just doesn't go on the nice curated shelf. It goes on the other shelf, and that's fine. Do you have a book by an author using a pen name? I already used one of Kingfisher's books, but I will be using a second Kingfisher book, The Hollow Places. T. Kingfisher is the pen name for Ursula Vernon. She's awesome, and this is a nice horror book that kind of plays on the idea of a nexus world, on the idea of wormholes. It's super interesting. I loved it, and once again, I love pretty much anything Kingfisher writes. So T. Kingfisher is a pseudonym. Do you have a book with the main character's name in the title? Yes, I do. I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is the special edition, which is why it is blue. Here she is under the dust jacket. Beautiful from all angles. So yes, I do have a main character in the title of the book, Addie LaRue. Do you have a book with 2 maps in it? This one was weirdly hard. I could have cheated and used one of my tabletop books, which have tons of maps in them. But I did find out Babbel has 2 maps. There is this map, which is the map of Oxford, and there is this map, which is a map of the tower itself. So 2 maps. Do you have a book that was made into a TV show? Yes, I actually have the TV show cover of American Gods. I'm not certain why mine is so chunky. I've seen this same cover that is like much smaller. No idea why, but I've not seen the Starz show, but American Gods was made into a Starz show. So yes, American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Do you have a book written by somebody that was originally famous for something else? Yes. I'm Glad My Mom Died was written by Jeanette McCurdy, who is a former Nickelodeon star. And man, does she talk about it in this book. She doesn't go into stuff that she would like get sued for probably, but she does talk about some of the bad stuff that happened to her while she was on Nickelodeon, as well as obviously the abuse she suffered from her mother. But she was not originally famous for being an author. She was a child star, and now I'm excited to read whatever she writes because she's a fantastic author. Do you have a book with a clock on the cover? I do. I have a couple, I think. I just got The Adventure Zone, The 11th Hour. And right there on the cover, they are falling into a clock. So I knew that the kind of time travel-y book would have one. Do you have a poetry book? I do. I have a couple of poetry books, but I'm going to go with The Moon is Always Female. This one is short, it's sweet, but it's also got that cute little image of cat on the moon. Do you have a book with an award stamp on it? I do. I have several, but you want bang for your buck. This bad boy's got 4. This is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, and it has 4 different award stamps on it. It's an awesome book, and you should read it, but yes, I do have the version that has all of its awards. Do you have a book written by an author with the same initials as you? I'm not going to dox myself and tell you all what my last name is, but I do have books, plenty of them, written by somebody whose last name is S. And V.E. Schwab, we share an initial because my name is Sarah. And this is the beautiful edition of Vicious that my partner got me. I really wanted the version that looked like blackout poetry because of Victor's proclivity towards blackout poetry in the book. And he surprised me with this. I was very excited. Yes, V.E. Schwab. Schwab and Sarah share an initial, and I'm not getting any deeper than that. Do you have a book of short stories? I do. I have Dark Water. This is written by the same author that wrote the original story that Ring was inspired by, or rather the Japanese version, Ringu. This is a series of short stories that all revolve around water and the horror that you can achieve with water. It's really fantastic. I had some stories I loved, some stories I was just okay with, but overall I really liked it. Do you have a book between 500 and 510 pages long? I basically looked at every single one of my books on my bookshelf and nearly had to just take the L on this one. I nearly had to consider this one a loss, but Thunderhead, last page of the book, 504. Thunderhead has 504 pages. I really thought that I was not going to find a book that was in that very specific amount of pages. I was really bummed out that I was not going to be able to succeed on this challenge for that one. But no, Thunderhead accomplishes it. Love Neil Shusterman. He's one of my favorite authors. Glad I could bring him in this challenge. Do you have a book that was turned into a movie? I have several, but this one was the one that I thought of first, and it is Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. I actually have not seen the movie version of Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, but I do like the book. I really enjoyed it. This is a story that takes place in Savannah, Georgia. It is pretty closely based on a true story, but some of the events have changed order. Like some of the events the author wasn't actually present for, but he wrote them as if he were. But other than that, a lot of the events in this book were in the news when they occurred, so pretty closely based on a true story. Not quite nonfiction, but it is not quite nonfiction, but it is pretty true to life. Do you have a graphic novel? I have several, but I will always take the chance to show off my very old copy of The Less Than Epic Adventures of TJ and Amal. This book I bought the year it came out in 2015. It is 8 years old at this point, and I absolutely adore it. It does have a little water stain right here, little spine damage, but it's because I've read it so many times. I read this when it was a webcomic and actually was very excited whenever it was finally printed in the full completed omnibus edition. And my edition is signed and has a beautiful drawing of TJ and Amal in it. E.K. Weaver is currently working on a second webcomic, Shot and Chaser. You should follow that one as well. But if you want to read this one, these editions are still available, if I am not mistaken. And they have the entirety of TJ and Amal still up on their website, if I am not mistaken also. If you are not certain whether or not you want to purchase this gorgeous tome, you can read it for free on their website, and it does still benefit them. So, favorite graphic novel I own. Do you have a book written by 2 or more authors? Yes, I do. Tevinter Nights is a Dragon Age story compilation, and each story is written by a different author. So just in this copy alone, there are 15 stories. Some of them are doubled up, but there are definitely more than 2 authors in this one. And that's it. I know that this one was slightly easier than the Do I Have That Other Book challenge, but I did manage to get all of those books. I did have them all. The real challenge will be whether or not I can accomplish the second challenge without reusing any of these. But this was a lot of fun, and if you have any questions about the books that I showed, you can let me know down in the comments. And with that, I will see you next time. Bye.